Hi there, I'm Ben from the Merrimack Public Library, and this is If You Know, You Know Kitchen Survival. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you a simple, easy recipe for a breakfast quesadilla, and I'm also going to teach you a really foolproof way to get perfectly crispy bacon every time. So, let's get down to it. Alright, so to begin with, we're going to want to take our bacon. I've just got some regular cut bacon here. And what we're going to do to get our bacon to come out perfect and nice and crispy without curling up is we're going to bake the bacon instead of frying it in a pan. So we're also going to want a foil-lined baking sheet. You definitely don't need one this big. And I've set a cooling rack into this as well to keep the bacon off of the tin foil and hopefully make our cleanup a little easier. But this is totally optional. And I've got some cooking spray. I'm just going to give the sheet here a quick spray down. So the bacon doesn't stick to it too badly. And then we're going to take our slices of bacon and arrange them in one big layer so that nothing overlaps. And you can make as much or as little as you like. Probably about 2 strips is plenty for a single quesadilla, but you could also make extra and just save it for later. If you'd like to make this vegetarian, you can just skip all this stuff about the bacon. Alright, so we've got our bacon all set, and we can throw this in the oven right after we wash our hands. Okay, so for this strategy, we're going to want to take our bacon and put it into an off oven. And then we're going to set our oven to 400 degrees and let it come up with the bacon inside, and then time this for between 12 and 17 minutes. And we'll make sure that we check on it towards the end so our bacon doesn't burn. So while we're waiting for our bacon to finish cooking, we can look at the rest of our ingredients. We're going to need some tortillas. I've got 2 flour tortillas here. You could also use just 1 tortilla and fold it in half if you want to make a smaller portion. I'm going to be using 2 eggs to fill these. They could probably also take 3 if you want. We're going to have a green pepper and some shredded cheddar cheese. You can also use Colby or a sharp cheddar or whatever kind of cheese you like, and you can of course shred it yourself too if you prefer. So once you've given your pepper a quick rinse and wash and removed any labels, we can start chopping it up. Just to review some basic knife skills, you want to be pinching the blade with your forefinger and thumb actually touching the flat side of the metal to give yourself more control. And a sharp knife is a lot safer than a dull one, so make sure you're working with a pretty sharp knife. For just 1 tortilla, I'm going to use about 1/4 of this. So I'm going to start by just chopping our pepper in half. I'm going to pull out the seeds and the white bit here. And cut around some of the other innards a little bit. And then I'm going to take half of this. I'm going to cut into strips that are about the width of the pieces I want. Remembering to use my first knuckle here to guide the blade so that my chopping motion isn't near my fingers. And then just go across a few of these at a time into little pieces. Alright, and our peppers are all set. Alright, next we're going to deal with our eggs. I'm going to crack our 2 eggs. Easier usually to crack on a flat surface. We're basically going to be scrambling these, so we're just going to throw a little bit of salt and pepper in here, and then mix these up. And I'm not one of those people who likes to put milk in scrambled eggs, so we're just going to do this as is. And then once those are beaten together, we can just add our peppers straight into this mixture. This is gonna make cooking these a little easier, but bear in mind, so if you like, this is gonna keep your peppers pretty crisp. If you like softer peppers in a quesadilla, you can add them, you can cook them on their own first. And we're ready to start cooking. All right, so it's been 12 minutes and our oven is not even all the way up to 400 degrees just yet. And our bacon is looking pretty pale here, so we're gonna let this keep going for another couple of minutes, up to 5, and I'm gonna check on it another few minutes. Here's our finished bacon. Took closer to 20 or even 22, 23 minutes to get to this point because it took so long for my oven to come up to temperature. But as you can see, it all stayed nice and flat, and it's going to come out nice and crispy once it's had a second to cool off. And now I can just transfer it onto some paper towels to soak up the extra grease, and I've got some great bacon. So now we've got our bacon. It's been draining for a minute on our paper towel lined plate here. We can just take a couple of strips of this and chop them up nice and small to use in our quesadilla. And we can go ahead and save the rest of our bacon so we don't have to take time to bake it next time we want to make a quesadilla. All right. Now that we're ready to start cooking, we can get our large nonstick skillet heating over medium heat and add about a tablespoon of butter and let this go until it's foaming before we add our eggs. All right, once your butter is foaming and your pan is nice and warm, you can go ahead and dump your egg and pepper mixture straight in. And again, if you wanted to keep the peppers a little bit, or if you wanted the peppers to be a little softer in the final product, you can cook those for about a minute first before adding the eggs. And if you want more tender eggs, one of the tricks is to just keep stirring until they start to set up to make smaller curds. So just keep agitating your eggs. Another good rule about eggs is you don't necessarily want it to be runny when you're done, but if you wait until the eggs look totally dry, they're going to keep cooking a little past that and they'll be overcooked. So you really want to finish cooking scrambled eggs when they still look moist but not runny. And in this case, these are going to get a little bit more heat indirectly when we make our quesadilla, so we can probably go a little earlier than we might normally. I think about there is probably good. So I'm going to set these aside in the bowl for a minute on the plate. So my non-stick pan is actually a little bit too small for my tortillas, so I'm going to actually swap it out for this cast iron pan. So I'm going to start preheating, do it also over medium. And I'm going to melt some more butter in here, again about maybe a tablespoon or so. Alright, so we've got our pan heated and our butter is all melted and bubbling, so we can add our first tortilla. And we want to do this on medium heat. And now we're just going to throw down a layer of cheese. You want to leave a border around the edge and get some good coverage sort of towards the middle. Give this a sec for the cheese to melt. Actually, while we're waiting for that, we can throw our layer of our eggs down on top and spread that around on top of our cheese. So now we can top with our bacon. Some more cheese if you like. I mean, why not? It's a quesadilla without a lot of cheese. And press our second tortilla down on top of all of that. And we can take a peek. Little well done on one side. Our pan didn't heat totally evenly. And we probably want to give this about maybe 2 or 3 minutes on the other side as well, just to get everything all melted and get this tortilla to start being a little crisper. Alright, and once your bottom tortilla is looking good, that over, slice into quarters, and serve. So there you have it. A quick, simple recipe for a breakfast quesadilla that's also great for, any time of day. You can have this for lunch, if you want to do breakfast for dinner. It's all full of eggs, cheese, bacon, peppers, and you can easily swap any of those or add other things to them if you want to try. Maybe throw some onions in there, change the bacon for a sausage or something like that. You can just go nuts with it. And then serve it up with some sour cream and salsa or hot sauce or just as it is. So enjoy. So there you have it, a nice easy breakfast quesadilla recipe coming to us courtesy of Pumpkin and Spice. I'll put a link to that down below. I hope you try this one out, maybe experiment a bit and enjoy. As always, if you have any recipes or foods you'd like to see on this show, leave a comment down below and we'll see if we can get to them. And until next time, I've been Ben from the Merrimack Public Library. Bye.